Blessings, fam. I'm your brother in the struggle I leave. And today we're going to decipher the cipher Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, number 29. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad basically teaches us that Dr. Yaqub Shabazz did not build prison houses for his people. When one fell victim to the law, the penalty was death, and it was enforced on every victim. Now here we see that Yaqub's law was an extreme law, that Yaqub was a dictator, and that the people was considered victims to his ideology. In the nation of Islam, we're taught, according to the Holy Quran, that there is no compulsion in Islam, meaning that forced faith is no faith. When you see and hear a minister or captain or secretary give you a self-made command, give you an order or an instruction that runs contrary to Allah, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, to whom all praise are due forever, and his first, last, and only messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, you are duty bound to disobey that law. Now, that instruction or that order or that divine edict did not come properly. Therefore, you, as a conscious, free-willing individual, you're obligated to use what the messenger called in our lessons of 24 Principles of Islam. You must use good judgment and discretion. And using your good judgment and discretion, you must understand that in every nation, there is a supreme law of the land. Like say if you was in Mecca, the supreme law of the land would be the Holy Quran. If the Amir or the Sheikh or the king or the sultan or the imam told the believers, we're going to start selling pork and eating pork in the holy city of Mecca, the believers would reject that command because the supreme law of the land is the Kitab, or the Holy Quran, the divine book. In the United States of America, the Western world as we call it, which is basically what they call a Christian nation. They don't have the Quran as the supreme law of the land. It's not a Muslim nation, even though Muslims have the freedom to believe whatever and practice their faith, according to the First Amendment or the Constitution of the United States of America. However, in this country, the supreme law of the land is what their founding fathers called the Constitution. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So whenever you deal with a nation, that nation has a body of information that gives that nation a worldview, a codified text. It may not be physically written down, like in ancient Africa, many times it was an oral tradition. You know what I mean? It don't have to be written on clay or written on leather or written on parchment or written on paper or in a computer or on a flash drive. It can be in the minds of the believers. Now, the nation of Islam has a supreme law of the land also. That supreme law of the land is what we call the restricted laws of Islam. The 26 laws for Master Prophet Muhammad is akin to the 10 commandments of the Hebrews. It's akin to the Holy Bible to the Christians. The supreme law of the nation of Islam is the restricted laws of Islam, and the restricted laws of Islam teaches us that we are not only to obey Allah, but we are to obey His messenger and believe in the message that He has taught to us. We have to believe as the messenger of Allah believe if we're saying that we're believers in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because it is only the messenger's message that can guide us through this age of mess. So when a minister or a captain or a secretary tells you or orders you or teaches you to go contrary to the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you are duty bound to reject that teaching, that instruction, that writing, that tape, that video, that DVD, that newspaper, that pamphlet, that whatever it is, manual. Now, I mean, no matter what form it may come in, but this gives us a balance because we are obedient believers. We have to support our commanding officers. There are ranks and files in every nation, meaning that in the United States, you have a Secretary of State, you have state police, you have sheriffs, you have judges, you have school teachers, and you would have anarchy and chaos and insubordination if the people individually just took on self-made commands. But if the people are living together in a social or republic or democracy or what have you, in a nation state, they have to have order, because two cannot walk together according to the prophecies or the scriptures or the gospel unless they are agreed. I could be walking that way, you could be walking that way. We're not going to get to the same destination. So we need unity. We need organized or operational unity. But that unity should not be blind faith. Now, I mean, the scriptures teaches us that faith without works is dead. So there is a balance. We have to, as the scriptures say, get knowledge and get wisdom. But even if you had a department of supreme wisdom, it makes no sense or makes no difference if you don't have the understanding. So we need knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, because understanding is the principal thing according to the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So as a believer, I love and I respect any commanding officer. I support all the ministers. I wouldn't care if it was the Honorable Minister Salis Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan Muhammad, Brother Minister Mutakwan, Jeremiah Shabazz, Levi Kareem, whatever. Now, I mean, it could be a private soldier. If they're teaching the messenger teachings, they are worthy of our love and support on every level. But it's only when they go away from the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we say, you know, I love you, brother. I love you, sister. And I agree with 99% of what you teach. But on that point there, I disagree with you. That does not mean that the penalty should be death mentally, because then we're into Yaqub's teachings. Yaqub did not build prison houses for his followers. His dictates was law. His edicts was compulsory. They were made by force, the force of torture, the force of fire, the force of being cremated, the force of having your head cut off. Now, I mean, if that's the case, now you know, oh, I'm not in a nation of freedom, justice, and equality. I'm in a black nation that's teaching freedom, justice, and equality, but practicing slavery, suffering, and death, just like my former slave masters. So put them in the classification of the enemy. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle. I leave.